yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, Mr. Postman.
Please, Mr. Postman, look and see.
Oh yeah,
There's a letter in your bag for me.
please, Mr. Postman.
Why is it taking such a long time?
Oh yeah,
I need to hear from that boy of mine.
All right, welcome back to the Open House Radio Show here on AM 700 KSEV. This is our mail call segment, and we said this whole show we're kind of talking about homestead protection and our homestead exemptions, and that's where our question comes from today. It comes from Dwayne, and the question is, I'm getting ready to close on my house at the end of April, and I understand that I have to file for my homestead exemption by April the 30th. What happens if we don't close on time and it goes past that? Is that going to mean I don't get the homestead for this year? Great question, and congratulations, by the way, on your home purchase. Always appreciate people going out there and taking part in the real estate process. It's always great. A lot of people out there doing that very thing so far this year. Let's talk about homestead exemption and not filing by April the 30th and not being closed by April the 30th, whether or not that makes a difference. And in this case, the actual answer is no. It really doesn't make a difference, and the reason, unfortunately, is that by closing on April the 30th, whether you close before April the 30th or after April the 30th, you don't get to claim the homestead exemption anyway this year. Here's the rule. To be able to claim the homestead exemption, you have to have owned the property on January the 1st of that tax year. So, to be able to claim homestead exemption for 2011, you had to have owned that property as of January the 1st, 2011. So the fact that we're not closing until April the 30th really is not going to make a bit of difference, because you can't claim the homestead anyway until January of 2012, because you didn't own it on January 1st, 2011. Does that mean you don't get the homestead exemption? Not necessarily. Let's go take a look at it. It's all going to depend on what that owner has done who owns that property between January 1st and April 30th of 2011. What did they do? That's what we need to find out. If they have taken the homestead exemption off their current residence and put it onto the one that they're moving to, sorry, you're out of luck. But if they haven't moved it, if they have left that homestead exemption in place on that property, then it's possible that you may benefit from their homestead exemption through the rest of 2011. Might not. Just depends on what the taxing authority does. Just depends on what Harris County Appraisal District or Montgomery County or Fort Bend County or Brazoria County or whoever it is. Just depends on how they treat it. But there is a chance that if that homestead exemption was left on by the previous owner or by your current owner, then maybe you can benefit from that. So that's the rule. If you've ever tried to close a house on December 31st, you know what it's like. The title companies are like hospital waiting rooms. It's incredible. Everybody is just waiting to get closed. Why do they wait until the end of the year? Because they have to be closed and own that house by January the 1st of the following year to be able to claim that homestead exemption. So that's part of the reason. And then everybody waits until the end of the month anyway, because it's cheaper out of pocket in most cases. So that's what you're dealing with. So the fact that you're not closing until April the 30th is not going to make a bit of difference as far as your homestead, but you need to find out what that owner has done, because if that owner already owns another piece of property, they can go ahead and move that homestead exemption. Even though they're not living in that house yet, you can claim a homestead exemption on a piece of property you own, even if you're not living in it. Did you know that? Let's say that again. Even if you're not living in a home, if you own it, you can go ahead and claim the homestead exemption. It has to do with usage, not whether or not you're actually living there. You can claim the homestead on a piece of property before you occupy it, but you have to own it. So that makes all the difference in the world. Again, congratulations on your home purchase. That is great news. We always love people taking part of the real estate process. That's our question for this week, having to do with homestead exemption and homestead protection. We're going to be talking about this all through the show today. So if you have a question that you would like to have answered on the mail call segment, let us have it during the week. You can either give it to us on the Facebook page, Open House Radio with Don Leonard. You can email it to us at openhouseradio@yahoo.com, or if it's during the show, 281-558-5738. All right, well, let's continue with the show. Once again, that's our mail call segment. We are talking about